Should Christopher Walter Santi have left with Adrianna to California? Welcome back to Fog Entertainment. It's a simple question. Is it a simple answer? Yes, it is a simple answer because you know what? He should have left. We all know how Christopher goes out with a bloody nose, so it would have prevented that.
Should he have left though? Should he have left? I'm not too sure. Wouldn't that make him
A rat?
A rat? Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
it
but
would.
look at the crew. He's not respected. He's a diddy, man. He sits there in his wee hat, and Buddy Silvio gives it the big one. Do I need to get into specifics about what your uncles did? Your uncle. Your great fucking uncle, Christopher, the same guy who had your girlfriend killed. Didn't talk it over. I mean, I get it, right? Adrianna was a rat, even though she didn't really give up anything crucial at the end of the day. But, like, is Christopher supposed to get down on his hands and knees and start kissing the soles of fucking Tony Soprano's feet because Tony sorted the issue out for Chris? If anything, I think all the praise should be going to Christopher. He's the one that gave her up.
I know.
No, honestly, no. Like, say Carmella at it, right?
Or Mido.
Meadow, shite. And Tony went to Silvio and got Chris to do it. Do you think Silvio would have the fucking balls to say to Tony, do I need to get into specifics what your little nephew did for you? No, of course he wouldn't.
Well, first of all, if it was someone in Tony's family, do you think they'd be getting whacked?
Well, that's the thing. Probably not.
Maybe Anthony, because he doesn't really.
He's a boy. He's a man. What, is he a man? He's a fucking man-child.
Fucking loser, more like. Anyway,
I think Tony might have done it himself. He did it with Tony B.
let's look at. Oh, a bit different. That's his cousin, his fucking son.
And he's a made man in that life.
Anyway, let's look at the votes. So 115 votes, 81% are saying that Chris should have left with Adrianna, 19% are saying no. I guess the 19% that say no believe that it played out the way it should have. Chris, revealing to Tony that Adrianna was kind of conspiring with the officials and was going to rat.
The authorities.
The authorities.
The officials.
Oh, that's what you
It's
call
not a ball game.
Oh, no, but
Ball game, Mal.
you never heard no one call them the officials?
Aye, but it's not really what I'd call them.
Fair enough.
See if Christopher.
The dirty pigs.
See if Christopher turned it up to Tony's house, said the officials. Fucking Tony would start bursting out laughing.
What ball game you watching, Chris? Anyway, so I guess 19%, agree that what happened, Chris should have, did what he did. I mean, let's look at why he should have left, and let's look at why he shouldn't have left. Should have left. Adriana's his wife, or
To be.
Adriana's hot. He could have lived a clean life, I guess, and not do bad things, because I don't think he really is a bad guy. I think he has got. He's killed people, but I still think that he's a bit. I think he's got
stuck
more.
in that life.
I think he's got more compassion than the rest of the people in Tony's crew. I think he's got more of a heart.
He is missing half a chromosome though.
So I mean, maybe.
I didn't.
But then again, that's all positives. But she talked about him being a model and him doing his writing and him doing his books. Surely that he'd have to change his whole name and identity. And if he's putting himself in the public eye by modeling or being an author, wouldn't that make it easier for him to be found one day? So it's almost like if he does run away, and you're not really living a good life, or he's getting away from the crime life, but you're essentially hiding, aren't you?
Yeah, and he's not only got to hide for Tony, she's got to hide for the FBI. So there can't really be any of that. It's a fucking pipe dream.
Yeah, it's like if they run away, I mean, you're not going to be able to have a life in the public. You're essentially going to have to change your entire identity and then get a job at McDonald's or something, I
mean, I would say Christopher at this point has got enough money to probably
country, fresh start.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to sell a few of the properties, but then that raises suspicions. I know I said at the start of this video that he should have left, right? But when I look at it, I just don't think they would have been able to get away.
What is Tony's reach? Let's say they leave. Where do they need to go in order to be safe?
Well, is
it just New York, New Jersey?
We've seen in season 1 that guy was in Maine. You know the guy Tony strangled with the lights?
Yep.
The wiring? Maine's pretty close to New York. And I say pretty close. It's not like around the corner.
That was
but-
just a mad coincidence, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's not like Tony openly went out of his way to find him.
And he found him.
Yeah. I think if Chris and Adriana even moved to California, they wouldn't have been found. It seems like if you stay in your own time... No, because see if Chris and Adriana left, I guess Chris hadn't technically ratted. And the Soprano crew probably wouldn't have found out that Adriana was under the
So
FBI's
they might not came looking for him.
It might have just been why Christopher left.
But the FBI would have been looking for him.
Yeah.
Well, we see when Fury went back to Italy, Tony never bothered looking for him.
And, what's worse, I mean, leaving on the spot or leaving after, trying it on with your wife? Furio.
So maybe they could have left. But then Adriana would always be on the run. She'd always be a fugitive. She'd always be a criminal. So, I don't know.
It's a tough situation.
Could Chris have opened up and left the part that she gave any information? And could Tony had arranged a life for them in Italy? Is that a possibility?
I mean, potentially.
Or do you think as soon as Chris mentions anything about feds, Tony's just gonna...
Yeah, I think Tony. I
paranoid man that
I
he is.
think when as soon as Tony hears that Christopher is like half on board with leaving with Adriana, I think he would have squeezed his fucking nose a season early. Put it that way.
Well, there you go. Maybe that's it.
You mean Chris took one look at the family outside the gas station and went, not for me. Remember that?
Yeah, but I mean, I wonder why. He never looked at it and went, no, that is for me.
I know, but the father looked depressed. He's like, I've got 3 kids that I don't want. I've got no money. I'm on the run. I'm in a shite station wagon. Chris is like, sports cars, money, well, I was going to say drink and drugs, but he can't do that anymore.
No.
It's at the window for Chris.
Anyway, guys, that's it. I can see why you'd vote for both options. I mean, Chris, that's what it is. Was he loyal? Was he not loyal to Adriana? Or was his loyalty to Tony?
I guess he does. He does. Tony calls her a cunt, and then Chris is like, "Yeah, she couldn't even do 5 fucking years for me." And it's right. That's all like the initial charge was, like 5 years. Let's be honest, it would have been a misdemeanor because
Should have got out in like half.
yeah, should have got out in half, maybe less because it would have been a first time offence. But yeah, dumb cunt is Adriana. Do you think they ruined the Adriana character, or do you think it was a decent arc?
I mean, you could.
It's memorable. It's pretty iconic.
Didn't it go on for 2 full seasons though?
Yeah.
I think rather, and it felt like it was happening on and off. I think they could have condensed it into 1 season and just had more focus on it.
No, I agree.
Because like the Adriana thing would like be a focus of maybe 1 episode, but then it wouldn't really get brought up for another like 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So I think they could have condensed it or whatnot. But I thought it was decent. Probably a good way to get rid of the character.
No, absolutely. But anyway, guys, he should have left. We're going to leave too.
We're leaving. We're definitely leaving. Yes, we're leaving.
Yes, we're out.